It's Wednesday. What's going on, everybody? It is the Mike and Mish show. Mission accomplished in the mother house. Mike, what's going on, dude?
It feels so good to be back.
It feels so good to be back. Is that like an Eminem thing? Is that
Yeah,
right?
I think so. And you know what's funny is when the music was playing and we were about to get started, I was like, "Oh, this is very low. Turn me up on my headset."
Turn me up. I can't hear my snare.
Crazy.
Oh, dude, here we are, dude. It is Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is the Mike and Mish show, the number one spot in the bare knuckle world to come and listen to your favorite fighters talk. We got another big show for you guys tonight. We got the other half. We already talked to Lorenzo Hunt last week. We got the other half of the main event from Monroe, Louisiana, October 1st, BKFC 30. Quentin Hero Henry will be on here in a few minutes to talk about that.
Yep.
We all heard what Lorenzo had to say last week, and he always comes with some fucking fire when he comes to speak. I'm very curious to see what Quentin has to say tonight. And then we got a undefeated fighter from the welterweight division that is 2-0 right now in the BKFC. He is a veteran of the UFC and Bellator and many other MMA organizations. Jake Lindsey will follow up Quentin Henry tonight. But what's up with you, Mike?
Man, I have just been enjoying the beautiful weather because, we're headed into the fall, which fall's nice, but I hate the winter so much. We actually went out the other day, right? Have you ever had Doughboys before? I feel like it's like I don't know, is it a Rhode Island thing, like Dell's lemonade and coffee milk?
I've had coffee milk. I've had Dell's lemonade. I don't think I've ever had a Doughboy.
Well, Doughboys, they're kind of like a beignet. I don't know if you've had a beignet before, but anyways, just
Jesus,
dough with sugar on it.
you are a bougie motherfucker,
It's
dude. That is a name that's a word that I've never heard in my life.
never
Nah, beignet. What did you say?
a
What is it?
beignet. It's like
Beignet.
it's a French treat. It's like dough with sugar on it. Basically,
All
eat it
right.
with coffee or
Yeah.
whatever. So we're out at the beach. I'm with my kids and we're eating outside, right? And Brooklyn, she takes a bite out of this doughboy, and she was so distracted. She finally takes her first bite. She's holding it like right here, and this fucking seagull just comes down and just the whole thing, the whole doughboy, her finger, and everything. Right, and it happens so fast, and she's like, and she starts crying. She's got a little, nick on her finger, and then I'm upset at the seagull. Right, like I can't let it go.
Yeah, yeah.
So the whole time I'm like, I'm gonna catch one of these fucking seagulls. I can't wait. I'm gonna kill one of these seagulls, right? So yeah, man, friggin' seagull took the damn whole entire doughboy. So I had to give her my doughboy. That fucking seagull ate more doughboys than I did. I ordered the doughboys and I didn't even get to eat any. And the damn
Dude.
seagull had a whole damn thing. Can you believe
You know,
that
you
shit?
know what? Before we do a read real quick and then bring on Quentin Henry, I am going to agree with you that seagulls are the biggest pieces of shit in the world, man. We can't go to the westerly beaches
The
down
worst.
here without if you order food, you need to like eat it with like a hand over your face,
Jeez.
or those little bastards, those little sea rats will come through and take that shit right out of your hand.
I've
You
seen
want
it like right next to somebody. You know what I'm saying? But I've never seen it like you're taking a bite and the thing comes down and it's like, ugh,
dude,
give me that shit.
real quick before we do this read and bring on Quentin. When we were younger, we were at the beach. We buried my buddy Joel, Walmart Joel. You guys all know Walmart Joel.
Mm-hmm.
We buried Joel up to his neck, right? We're like 14 years old at the time. We take a bag of Cheetos and we pour it all around his head and on his fucking head while he is buried up to his neck and he can't move. And dude, it was like that movie Birds. The seagulls came down. The screams that were coming from that pile of sand were something out of a fucking horror movie, and he hated us for the rest of the day, dude. He was just like, crying and shit, dude. I love you, Joel. I'm sorry. I love you,
Can't wait
Joel.
to see him.
That's my kid's godfather right there. Hey, right quick. Thank you, Andrew Toppin. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Yes, Joe Ivory says Walmart, Joel. That's right. Before we get Quentin in here, we just got to shout out a new sponsor to the show. You could see Mike and I are both wearing their gear right now. Guerrilla Warfare, a new apparel company. Here's their information. It's the real fighter's choice, Guerrilla Warfare Apparel. Go to their website, guerrillawarfareapparel.com. Go to their Instagram, follow them up. They're signing up all kinds of fighters. They got Misfit. You see her there. You got Brian Reber. You got Tony Soto. You got Andrew Angel Core. You got Brad Kelly signed to the company. They're scooping up all these badass bare knuckle fighters. They're throwing their gear on all of them.
It's nice stuff too.
Dude, nice stuff. So if you guys have ever worn a Killfoot clothing shirt that used to make the Mission Accomplished shirts, same brand, same American made apparel, comfortable as hell. Feels like you've washed it 100 times when you put it on. The best shit in the world. So anyways, go ahead and head over to guerrillawarfareapparel.com and buy some of their gear and support all these fighters and support the Mike and Mish show. And with that said, boys and girls, we got a huge show, and we got one half of the main event from BKFC 30 on deck right here. He will be fighting Lorenzo Hunt October 1st for the vacant cruiserweight title, BKFC 205-pound division. Here he is, Quentin Hero Henry. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys?
There he is, looking dapper as always.
Yeah. I love that hoodie. I love that color scheme.
Appreciate it, man. This is a good hoodie. It's nice and thin, so, it's not too hot. It's pretty comfortable.
Yeah, those are great. I got a couple of them myself. I love them for this time of year, especially out where we are from, at least, where the weather stays right in like the low 60s.
Right, yeah, we barely get to use them where I'm from.
It
gets cold for about 2 months, but it's not like icy cold. It's just like wet cold.
Yeah.
Hey, we got the same blinds. Look at how neat, just a different color.
This is actually my Airbnb in Colorado. So.
That's right. That's right. You're in Colorado.
That's right.
Oh man, let's talk about this for a second. You are training out in Colorado in high altitude in preparations for your title shot, man. October 1st. A lot of talk about the 205 title has been such a fucking weird situation for about 2 years now, man. Hector Lombard had it. A lot of people didn't believe that he should have been fighting Joe Riggs to begin with. That fight was like kind of like a up in the air thing with the general fan base. Lorenzo jumps in the ring. Everyone thinks that Lorenzo and Hector are fighting for that title. Turns out the day of the fight, they announced that they're fighting for the 85 title. Everyone's like, what the fuck is going on here? He wins that 85 title. Then what's going on with Hector? He goes to Eagle FC. Now it's vacant. Is he going to fight you? Is he going to fight Gustavo? Is he going to fight Mike Richmond? How in the hell did all of this fucking shit show of a mess lead to the fight that everyone was talking about a year ago? Lorenzo Hunt, Quentin Henry for the 205-pound title.
Man, I don't know. It is a very winding road that got us here. Now that you put it all out like that, yeah, it's pretty crazy. I feel like I was pretty adamant about working towards things on my side in order to give it to where at least one, I had some merit to say that I deserved the title. A lot of times it comes down to like the Richmond Lorenzo thing. I think was a it was a social media stunt. It was a cash grab at some views on that. I think at the end of the day, it makes no sense. Besides the fact that they don't like each other, which is cool, whatever, if you want to let them fight. But I was in line for the belt, and that's what was supposed to be happening before he picked a fight with Mike Richmond. So, I stated the way I felt about it at the time, especially when they announced that they were fighting each other. And then, I think once they announced it, prior to them announcing it, it was just Mike's fans that were talking about them wanting the fight. And then once they announced the fight, all my fans were like, wait, hold up. What's going on? Because I guess maybe they didn't think that it was even a possibility. That was just something that they were talking noise about. So I think that kind of swayed opinions on what was going on. And, maybe the timeline of, helping getting Louisiana passed and all that other stuff. So, I'm not, I'm a butterfly effect kind of guy. It could have been one little thing that led us to where we are here. And one little thing could have been different and we could be somewhere else. So, but I'm definitely excited about it. I'm just doing my part, the plan's being laid out in front of me, and I'm just making sure I'm learning my lines and rehearsing and getting ready for the ball.
Well, I could tell you this, and I know that you were upset because we had Mike Richmond and Lorenzo on, and we were part of that hype train because I'm going to tell you this, as much as you, okay, before I say all this, would you have been upset if they had you and Gustavo fight for the 205-pound title and Mike and Lorenzo just went and did their thing? Would it make a difference, or did you want Lorenzo and only Lorenzo?
Well, no, I definitely did want Lorenzo, but that's actually what the initial plan was because I accepted the fight at 205 for the belt against Gustavo. And then, or they asked me if I would be interested in that, would I do it? And I was like, hell yeah, if it's for the belt. Well, then at that point, I was like, all right, Lorenzo can go do whatever he wants. I can beat him up later. And then, because they offered me the fight with the belt, and that was the first thing I said was, what happened to Lorenzo? Like, what's going on there? Like, because I really wanted to fight him. Like I like the Cuban Assassin. I think he's an awesome fighter. I respect him a lot, but I wouldn't get as much satisfaction, out of fighting him. So, I've got some actual animosity towards getting in there, and not so much that as it's just something that I've looked forward to for so long, because every time I've gotten a fight, I've been like, all right, Lorenzo's next. All right, Lorenzo's next. And that hasn't necessarily been the case, so now, that it was happening to me again. I was at that position where it was like, all right, I'm fighting Lorenzo for the belt. We're finally to the place, where I wanted to be, not necessarily where I thought I would be. And, so then, okay, well, you got the belt, but no Lorenzo. So it was like, it was bittersweet, because in my head, it was me and him fighting for the belt. And that's what we've talked about in the past. So, and for whatever reason, I think, I don't know why the Richmond fight fell through or whatever, but then they hit me back like a week later and they were like, all right, you want, somebody, another fight in your hometown, or do you want to fight for the belt against Lorenzo? And I said, I want to fight for the belt against Lorenzo.
Why would you take anything else?
And Dave was like, all right, that's what I thought you'd say. So, he didn't know if like I'd rather fight, another fight here in my hometown that would maybe, not as be as big of a challenge, because, like it or not, he is the number one guy in the division and he is the toughest fight out there. And, but that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to chew bubblegum. I'm here to whoop some ass. So, and I want to have the good fights. I want to fight the guys that mean something after you beat them up. So, and I was like, you couldn't write that any better.
No, man, your career and his career have you guys have each have one mark on your record. Yours being a legend, Chris Lieben, his being the Gustavo Trujillo fight. I will tell you this, dude. When I was there, when them two confronted each other, and I filmed it and I posted it, and it fucking went crazy viral that night.
Right.
That's why, like, we were like, man, this fight can actually happen. It wasn't a cock block you or Gustavo or anybody like that. It was like hitting while the iron's hot. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that video of them two in that weigh-ins hit 1 million views for us yesterday. So it's like, people are interested. You know what I mean?
I 100% thought that they were going to do it, set the fight at with Trujillo. And like in that case, I wouldn't have been necessarily, and you got to take into account that a lot of the things I say on Instagram or Facebook are in order to garner a reaction out of things. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm that fired up about it, so, but, if they would have went with Gustavo, I would have understood but been disappointed. If I would have had to wait and they went with the Richmond fight, I would have been disappointed and pissed because that one really didn't make any sense, because you don't start setting up super fights until you fought everybody in your division, So, but I like Mike Richmond. I'm a fan of his. I like his boxing. I think that would be a cool fight to watch, but after I get my turn. Because I'm tired of getting skipped. We ain't doing no upsies up in here.
Well, you're here now, and I'm sure this fight's going to be fucking awesome. There's no doubt about that. There was no shortage of awesome fights that were going to happen at Cruiserweight. It's just like what fight was going to happen and when was it going to happen? Well, it's happening, and it's happening real soon. So,
man, this fight I think is a big fight, but there's there's going to be a lot of good fights on this card, man. I'm telling you, we got two guys that are just bangers, man, in the MMA world in Louisiana, and they both stepped up. They had probably one of the best fights I've ever seen in person. It was a striking match, in an MMA fight last year, I think, and then they're going to have the rematch in bare knuckle, and that I'm telling you, that's a fight I'm super excited about. We got some killers here in Louisiana, man, and I've been really, not necessarily surprised, but pleased with the amount of guys that have stepped up. We got a guy named Blake Lacasse. He's been a really good boxer, and he's looking to, he's like 6'7", like 175, I think is what he fights at. There's another guy named Brandon Shavers. He fights out of Global Fitness Center, but he's like from Gina, which is kind of South Louisiana or Central Louisiana. And this dude, I kid you not, is the 165-pound version of John Jones. He's 6'4".
Which name did you say?
Brandon Shavers.
Shavers.
He's 6'4", and he fights at 165.
Yep.
He has the body fat of a toothbrush. And let me tell you, this dude is going to be something else to watch, man. So and I'm on there. Obviously it'll be great. So, but man, yeah, there's a lot of local people that are coming in to fight that are going to be, stars, I think, in the sport.
I mean, on top of you and Lorenzo at the top of the card, you guys are welcoming Ben Rothwell to the bare knuckle world against Bobo,
right.
And Bobo is never in a shitty fight, you know what I'm saying? And
right.
And then you got the rematch of Stevenson and Caleb Harris on there as well. That dude that you were just talking about, how you say his name?
Brandon
Blake
Lacasse.
Blake Lacasse, he's fighting Noah Cutter too, and that
right.
last fight, Noah's 1-4 in bare knuckle, but you know what? He hangs in there in some fucking entertaining
Noah's had
fights.
some tough opponents though.
Hell yeah.
And every one of his fights has been a fight. And a lot of them end up getting stopped because I think he bleeds kind of easy. But the dude's got some heart on him. And Blake's come and trained with me a couple times, getting ready for the fight. And Noah will even tell you, he's like, I'm not the best boxer, because I know Noah. And he was like, but I'm going to fight. He's one of those guys. And
you remember his last one in Wichita against Kenny Lancia? Man, there was like 5 knockdowns in the first minute and a half or 2.5 minutes of the fight. It was like, boom, boom. They're both going
absolutely
down.
He was winning that fight.
Yeah.
I think going into the second, and then he got clocked.
Right.
I think he had a 10-7 going into the second round.
I think I was on the Reddit live stream when that was going on, but I was keeping up with the fight. But yeah, he's never in a bad fight. It's always fun to watch.
Now you're out in Denver. You're training hard for this one. Lorenzo Hunt has been basically, the top of the mountain recently. He's where all the spotlight. He makes a lot of noise. He draws a lot of eyes, and Lorenzo's good at selling events, man. He's done a lot of pumping this event up, but you've been relatively quiet, just doing your own Quentin Henry thing. How has the training been? What's it like out in Denver right now? And how excited are you to perform in front of your hometown people?
Man, the training has been great. It's been spot on. Training camp leading into going to the final part of training camp was even great. I had some great sponsors chip in this time. Spartan Adventure Parks, paid for our flights and stuff to get up here. So we're not slumming it while we're up here. So that makes it nice. Obviously, I'm super excited for this fight. Like I said before, it was like, I've been planning to have this fight for a long time now, and in between, I had to take pit stops and fight, Fish, and a pit stop and fight Sorrow, and then a pit stop and fight, DP. And, those I like, and it's always funny because, in God's plan is always different than what our plan is, But, in hindsight, I think just getting those extra fights was just making me more prepared for this one. So, I can see that. I believe that. And I feel like, I'm at the best I've ever been. And I'm just now, hitting Super Saiyan. I still got 2, 3, and 4 left. And so, it's super exciting, and, on the part about me being quiet, I haven't necessarily been, any more quiet than usual. I've had less people ask me to do interviews. It's not like I wouldn't do them if they asked. I just haven't been asked, so that as far as that goes, I haven't been on the internet trying to, bicker back and forth and blah, blah, blah. I've still been making my same posts that I usually do, and I was doing a podcast the other day, and, the people that tune in to watch me don't tune in to watch me act like a clown. My fans don't need that out of me. What they want to watch the things that I do, and that's what gets put on my social media most of the time. And, I'm not an actor. I'm not an actor. What you see is what you get. And, I wish I was. I'm decent at improv, I guess you could say, like Michael Scott. But, I'm just not interested in it. I know that there were one or two podcasts that were kind of hitting me up and they were pestering me about, I say pestering me, but they kept wanting me to get on there, and what they kept trying to do was have me and Lorenzo get on there together, and that always ends up being just a hollering match, and it just ends up being a cluster, and I don't like doing it. I'll be glad to sit there and talk to somebody and give them my part, whatever that question they want to ask. But I don't need an opportunity to let everybody know how much smarter I am than Lorenzo Hunt. I know that. I don't have to go out there and prove it to anybody. And so when it comes down to that, that's just something I'd rather not spend my energy on. So oh yeah, I'll do a podcast. Well, what we're thinking was we'll bring you on, and then y'all talk to you, and then we're gonna bring him on. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm cool. I'm not into any Jerry Springer type setup type of deal. And I know he thrives off that stuff. That's what he lives off of. So they can leave that.
That it's really hard for people like Mike and myself to control something like that. So as podcasters, as I think I can speak for the two of us, we would rather not do that. We made an exception for the Mike Richmond and Lorenzo Hunt thing because it blew up real quick on the internet and like everyone was talking about it. So we got them on. But like for the most part, that's murky waters that us as podcasters don't really even want to get into. So I don't know why people are.
Well, man, let me tell you, there's some of them out there that are all about that life.
Oh yeah.
And I ain't. I'm about real life. I ain't trying to set up no Jerry Springer, fake situations.
That's the thing. Like you kind of just want people to just naturally have like, a natural response. But if you try to push it, it doesn't work like you think it's going to, and sometimes it can become a disaster. Like Kyle said, you can't control people talking over one another. Nobody's paying attention. It becomes like, what are we doing right now? I don't know where we're going with this. Yeah, it can be messy.
It's a waste of my time. I got a lot of stuff to do. You know what I mean? Like when I'm on these trips out here in Colorado, I got all the time in the world to sit here and do podcasts or whatever. That's not that big of a deal. But when I'm back home, let me tell you, I ain't got a minute. I ain't got time to, I couldn't squeeze a, polished pellet through a bird's ass in the little amount of time I got. It's like, we're just running backwards and forwards. And, I got 3 kids. I'm doing, I help out with the youth group at church, and then I'm doing this and that. And on top of work and running the gym, I ain't got time to be sitting around, entertaining some clown. It just don't interest me. I got better things to do.
You've been doing that at the church for a while. I saw you got like the 6th graders or something, the 6th grade guys.
Yeah, I'm the 6th grade boys. Well, associate. It's me and another guy, but yeah, I'm the youth group leader for the 6th grade boys.
What were you guys doing? Playing a game? Did you have like Post-its on your head? Were you like playing?
No, I made them do that so I could remember their names. I was like, write your name on this Post-it note and stick it on your forehead. They were like, what? I'm like, just do it. I gotta learn y'all's name. It's my worst thing, man.
Like this giant dude with a mullet is telling us to put a goddamn Post-it on our phone.
Yeah.
We better listen.
Yeah, do as I say. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you this, and I know Mike has a few things to say about this too. Do you pay attention to all the media that Lorenzo does leading up to this? Like you just talked about, you were turning down podcasts because you don't want to get into that bullshit. But like Lorenzo, we had him on last week, and he was on for like an hour with us, and he had a ton of things to say and a lot of quotable shit. And he's almost like a Chael Sonnen type, where like a lot of his stuff is very quotable. I don't know if he like thinks about it before he comes on these shows, or he's just really good at
simple. It's easy to quote simple quotes. If his vocabulary was too expansive, you wouldn't be able to keep up with it. Why can't you quote me? Because you got to read it higher than a 5th grade level to comprehend and repeat what I said. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
So they don't like, none of the shit he said, none of the stuff he says, none of the shows he goes on to, you don't watch them and you don't really pay attention to that stuff.
Absolutely not. I see. Even not just with him though. Like I just don't watch him. I don't watch my opponent's podcast, and and I mean a lot of it is just hyping up the fight and whatever, and you don't know what's genuine and what's not. And uh, when I am watching things like that, I watch it as a fan. I'm not watching it with the idea of, oh yeah, he's really going to talking about my mom. I'm more watching it like, okay, this dude's really trying to sell this. Like, maybe he's for real. Like, I think he kind of is. I think part of him is like that's kind of how his that he tries to be Conor McGregor, like where he's getting into your head and making you so mad that you can't do anything. And I can understand that, from one perspective or depending on who you are. But I'm not that guy. That's not something that's going to get to me. I've got a lot of other things going on in my life, and I'm not sitting there stressing about what Lorenzo Hunt's doing, or any of that stuff. And and most of it's nonsense anyway. I have people kind of tell me things like, "Oh, did you see this?" You said, "I'm like, yeah, whatever." Good for him. But I'm focused on winning. Winners focus on winning, and losers focus on winners. And he seems to have a whole lot of attention on me. And if that's the way he wants to do things, then that's fine. But I'm on my grind. I'm on what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm working out. I'm training. I'm getting ready for a fight. I'm willing to promote the fight. One of his friends was messaging me saying how I wasn't working to promote this fight, and it was just because I didn't want to do the whole "let's fight over the internet" type of thing. And I'm like, I've sold out the building, like the whole building. Like they came out with, we have X amount of tables. How many do you want? I said all of them, and I need about 18 more. And then we've got tickets that we're selling out. It's like I've done my part. I'm selling the show.
Nice.
I'm the one working. I've been going to football games and doing stuff like that. But my main job is to win and to go out there and win impressively, and that's what I plan on doing. And I've never had this opportunity before. As far as getting to fight for a championship, and I'm not going to let anything get in the way of saying I didn't do it the right way or did everything I could to get it. So man, yeah, I'm just stoked about it all the way around.
Wow. So, well, that's awesome that you sold all those tickets, because that's going to be really, really, really fun when you walk out there and that crowd explodes when you have your walkout. Like you probably have a great song picked out. I can just imagine that place is going to pop.
Same song as always.
Okay. Hey, there's two ways. There's people that pick different songs every time, and then
it's When the Man Comes Around by Johnny Cash.
Well, that works too, though, because anytime, like say Daniel Cormier, right?
Right.
When he comes out, every time, same song, same thing. Like Anderson Silva does the same thing. Like you just know those people come out, and you just know their songs, and that's their song.
You got to find something that pumps you up. That's one that I relate to well.
So when we talked to Lorenzo last week, I'm going to ask you, give us a prediction for the fight. How do you think it's going to go down? But when we asked Lorenzo, he said it's going to be a nasty, nasty, nasty KO. Quentin will set the pace. He'll set the way the fight goes. I will beat him when he wears down and tries to bully me. I'll beat him if he tries to grab me. I'll beat him if he tries to stay away from me. I'll just beat him at the things he thinks he's good at. And then the fight's over. That's what he said when we asked him.
Hey, pretty good game plan, I guess. Hey, just beat him everywhere he thinks you can beat you. Okay. Man, he must have used a half a box of crayons to come up with that one. Man, that's just one of those things that lets you know he's living in a false reality, because this is a fight, and you got a chance of getting caught in something crazy going on with a random person, let alone somebody who's a trained fighter. And he would be just as crazy to look at how I fight and the things that I've done and to just dismiss me like I'm some kind of bum, just the same that I would be, I would be a fool to do the same to him, but that's where you start getting into the psychology of people like this, and he's just built everything about his life and his identity is the fact that he's a fighter, he's a champion, and, ain't no champ till I say so, blah, blah, blah. And so, he's got his little catchphrases and stuff like that, but that's not what wins fights, and you start believing your own legend and you start realizing that it's just a fairy tale. And, I'm the Cinderella man. I'm coming through to crash through on that shit.
I can tell you this before we let you go. I truly believe you
Still
when
got
you
the
said,
game, Kyle.
I know we're gonna do that. We're gonna play a quick game with you because this is a fun one. We came up with a good one for Quentin Henry
All right,
specifically.
nice.
But dude, listen to
Okay.
this. I really do believe that Lorenzo got in the head of Hector. I believe that he got in the head of Joe Riggs. When you say in the most calmest goddamn way possible that none of this shit bothers you, I truly believe it. So I think this time, his last two fights, he had won the fight before he even got in there. And it's no offense to Joe Riggs or Hector Lombard, but I really think he
Right.
did Conor McGregor mind fuck these dudes before they even got in the ring. And I really do believe
I mean,
when you
I
say
feel
that this is not
right.
happening.
And it's not so much as to how it affects his opponent as it's how much confidence he gives him to know that it's affecting him. And when you can tell that he feeds off of that, and I don't know if he was really in Hector's head as much as it was like that was just a terrible matchup for Hector. Hector shouldn't be fighting at 205 pounds. He's 5'8", and Hector did all that he could in that fight. But it just, like I said, it was a terrible matchup for him. So but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that are like that. They got to believe their own fairy tale. I think the biggest advantage that I have over every other people is that I see my faults and I accept them, and then I know where to work on them. And if you walk around and you think you're everywhere is perfect, you're better than me here, you're better than me there, then how hard are you going to work to improve? And that's what I want to see, because I know it's not as hard as I'm working to make sure you're not. And
Wow.
that's what I'm doing every day. And so we'll see. We get to find out. That's what's so great about this sport, is that we get to find out. We can answer all those questions, and I'm ready for the test. I promise you,
Dude,
I'm excited to see too. Maybe he will do that, and maybe he's got something that I don't know about. But maybe I can learn something. But we'll see. We'll see.
it's
That's
an
what the dance
incredible
is for.
It's an incredible matchup of opposite end of the personality spectrum, people that are both equally as skilled as each other in their weight class. So it's
Not
fantastic.
really. Almost.
I mean,
Not really.
you guys
We'll
are
see.
1 and 2. Okay, give me a break. You guys are 1
October
and 2.
1st.
All
You
right,
can
all
keep
right,
saying
all
that
right.
till October 1st.
All right, man. Hey, before we let you go, we got a fun game we're gonna play with you. It's called Hero or Zero with Quentin
Well,
Hero Henry.
nice.
It's as simple as this. We're going to give you somebody. You got to tell me if they're a hero or a zero. All right. Here we go.
All right.
Number 1, Pee Wee Herman.
0. Oh, man.
Mike.
Oh, Alex Jones.
Hero. That dude stands for what he believes in. He's got some crazy shit. Have y'all watched him on Joe Rogan? He's so funny.
Yes.
Number
He said,
3.
I'm kind of retarded. Oh, man. He's
Connor.
he's hero. He used to be one of my heroes. I've lost a lot of faith in him morally, but he's a hero, man. He's done what he said he was going to do. And to hell with everybody else, which is what he said 1,000 times. So cheers to him.
I agree with this, Mike.
Brett Favre.
Hero, Brett Favre. What?
Do you know about this whole welfare scam that he's doing?
What? No, I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry.
Oh,
I just
all
watched
right.
I just
Okay.
like him. I had his jersey when I was a kid. It's really
I know. I'm just fucking with you, but he really is involved in some sort of like welfare scam right now, where he like burned the welfare system.
Scam.
Yeah. Google it. I don't know the exact story, but he might have been a hero that may have been. He might be leaning towards the zero realm.
Okay, well, the jury's still out apparently. So, but as far as his football career, he was one of my heroes.
Okay, here we go. LeBron James.
Man, I'm not a LeBron James guy, I would say, but he's one of those two. It's kind of hard to deny that he is that skilled, but I don't really like his antics outside, but like he like supports China and all the crazy stuff that they're doing. But besides that, the man is in his own league when it comes to being a basketball player. So I can't say anything about that. Like the dude he's unreal.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
There you go. Go ahead.
All right. Miley Cyrus, the party in the USA.
Okay, look, hey, if we're gonna take out her trashiness, which that's okay. Look, I come from white trash. It just runs deep in my blood. I understand it, but you know, if we take away that part and some of the things that she did, she has a beautiful voice and she is extremely talented. So, I think she's kind of straightened up. She's come away from her Hannah Montana days. It got to be hard to be, achy breaky heart's daughter.
So she's a hero?
Oh, yeah, hero. We'll pull her through.
Vince McMahon.
Hero, yes.
Too easy.
Oh, too easy. He's so awesome.
Mike.
John Jones.
Again, he's a hero, man. He's had his battles on the outside, but as far as what he does as an athlete and what he's been doing, I'm super excited about him coming back to heavyweight. But it's hard you can't argue that he's not the greatest fighter of all time. So yeah, he's a hero.
And the last one, it's fresh on everybody's mind. Queen Elizabeth.
Man, I'm not really up to date on that, but I would probably say there's more people that would say she's a hero, but I'm probably going to lean that she's a zero because they probably did a lot of bad things too. And I don't know about all that, but
I think, I think she might have done a lot of bad things.
Right, I
love it, man. I love it.
Have people from the Crown, faking my suicide, any of that.
There's so many wild opinions about that lady right there, man. We love it. Quentin Hero Henry is the overseer of who's a hero and who's not in this world, and we gave him that opportunity tonight. October 1st, Monroe, Louisiana. He is fighting Lorenzo Hunt for the vacant 205-pound cruiserweight title in the BKFC. Huge fight. Long time in the making. Everybody's excited for it. Quentin,
absolutely.
Take a second, say some last words, and let you go.
Man, look, I'm just super excited about this fight coming out October 1st. I think this, like you said, this is a fight that's been in the making for a long time now. Me and Lorenzo have made our way to the top. There's no more running. I've been trying to fight him for years, and now we're about to pop this zit. What we're talking about. It's just been waiting for that thing underground for a little too long now. And it's going to be fireworks. I promise you, it's going to happen. When two guys like us get in there, somebody's going down, somebody's getting hurt. And, I think the odds are more than slightly in my favor.
It's going to be fireworks October 1st. If you guys have not gotten the app, if you're watching this show, you probably have the app. But if you're tuning in, down at the bottom, referral code, referral.bareknuckle.tv/Quentin. Get the app through his referral code there. Help the man out and tune in on October 1st. Thank you very much, Quentin. It's a pleasure talking to you as always, and best of luck on October 1st. All right, brother.
Awesome, man. Take it easy.
Later. There he is, the other half, man. These two guys are two of the best at 205, and they are finally matched up. It needed to happen. A lot of people wanted to see that Mike Richmond, Lorenzo Hunt fight, and I think they still will in the future. But, it made sense to make this fight, and putting it in Monroe, Louisiana,
that's
his
home. Make you crazy.
Oh, my God. And here's the thing. He said he sold out the arena. He's done his part. Lorenzo's doing his part. Lorenzo is known on a more, countrywide, global. I don't know about global yet, but Lorenzo's known more widespread.
His social media is insane.
So with Quentin doing his thing locally, selling out the arena, and Lorenzo doing his thing, going on every fucking media site out there, selling the app, getting the pay-per-view numbers. What a fucking event. Now we have another guest lined up right now. He is 2-0. He has two impressive fights in the BKFC. He is a longtime MMA veteran. He's a straight up badass, man. And he's going to be fighting another badass October 15th in Denver, Colorado at BKFC 31, when he fights Brandon Girtz from, you guys know him from Bellator. I don't know if you guys remember when he fought Derek Campos and he got a fucking hole in his forehead, dude. It was like one of the most nastiest cuts ever. It was awesome. But he's a beast. Jake Lindsey's a beast, and he's here with us now to talk about it. Here he is, Gypsy Jake himself. What's happening, buddy?
Hey, what's cracking, brother?
Hey, welcome to the show. This is the Mike and Mish show, and it's been a minute, and we've been trying to get you on, and now we have you. So what's up, man?
What's going down, guys? I like that zero or hero thing you did with Quentin. That was fun. He
We
forgot
threw a-
when they showed the picture of Brett Favre, he should have said Dick Pick God.
Yeah, there we go.
Everyone remembers the Brett No Fly Jeans Favre SNL skit.
You know what the
You know.
fucking thing? You know what the fucking thing is, dude? Brett Favre is a legend, and he is a bona fide badass in the NFL. Like, this dude was as tough as they come. He was on every pill under the sun to stay on the field. Remember the bounty gate against the Saints when the Saints were like all getting paid extra money to fuck his ass up as much as possible.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he never
Well,
went out of the game, man. He kept getting up, man. He's a beast.
I think I like him more because of the dick pic thing. Honestly, he's got the balls, I guess. You know. Yeah, he's an all time god, man. I never really liked football growing up. I always was getting into trouble and street fights and all that stuff. But I always watched Brett Favre, especially when he's on the Packers back in the day.
Now, where are you from originally? Like, born and raised
Manhattan, right?
Manhattan.
I was
Kansas?
born and raised in Manhattan, Kansas. I moved around. My family is from the Kansas City area. I stayed in Poland for a bit. I kickboxed over there. I lived in Colorado, but Manhattan, Kansas is home for me. So,
have you been to Manhattan recently? Like, do you go there often?
Manhattan, where? New York?
No, Kansas.
Yeah, it's where I live.
Oh, so you live there currently? I'm sorry, I misunderstood what you said. I thought you were saying you were born and raised there. I thought you lived somewhere different. Have you?
Moved around a bit, but honestly, there's a lot of money in my town, and it's the perfect size. It's not too big, not too small. I don't like big cities, man. They smell like shit, to be honest with you. Like Chicago. Chicago's nice, but it's a shithole. I mean, it's beautiful. New York was cool. Shithole. I mean, people are gonna get pissed off when I say that. Denver's cool. I love Denver. I'm fighting there next month. It smells like shit. So, no offense. I mean, I think even most people from Denver will agree with that, you know. But Manhattan's a cool little town, man. You guys should come hang out.
I've been there twice. I had to work so Kyle and I are both military, full-time Army.
Oh, I see. You had to
work
shit around, huh?
Yes, exactly. And I stayed in Manhattan, like right across the street from where the mall is. And there's like a little strip over there with like there's like a brewery and there's some little restaurants. And there's this one place called Bourbon and Baker.
Oh yeah, baby, what's up?
That place is awesome. I love that place.
Yeah, that's my my girlfriend's. I spend a lot of money there. That's her favorite place to go.
Oh, it's so good. They have the like, what was it, like chicken and waffles with this like
hot
honey on it or some shit.
Shrimp and grits. They have great drinks there. The desserts are fire. A lot of that. You were right down there on Points, which is where all the nice little restaurants are at. But that's a fire place to eat. I can't go there right now. I'm cutting weight, unfortunately. But after my fight, first place I'm going for sure.
Damn, yeah, that place is so good.
Yeah. Dude, what do you guys do in the military?
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I'm an avionics tech. I mean, now I'm a platoon sergeant. I just got sergeant first class back in March, so I'm a platoon sergeant. But during the week, I get to do my job. Not on the weekend so much anymore because now I have to do, go to meetings and shit like that. But I work. I'm an avionics tech. I work on radios, navigation equipment, night vision goggles, radar systems for helicopters like Black Hawk, Chinooks, stuff like that.
Oh, that's really impressive, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, Mike is very much like Zach Kalmus's dad now. We go to meetings. That's when we talk to Zach Kalmus, we're like, man, you come from a fighting family? He goes, nah, my dad plans meetings and shit. But that's the same with me. I'm a master sergeant in the Army. I'm actually the first sergeant for our company, an Alpha company in Connecticut. But I was a transportation supervisor, so I would plan convoys and assign trucks and assign routes and all that shit. So I was a movement guy.
Right.
But now it seems like my whole career, 22 years in the military now, I feel like my whole career is meetings for sure.
I mean, I guess maybe that's a good thing. You never know.
I guess. I got to the point where we don't really have to do any of the fucking grunt work anymore. We just got to tell people to do it. So it's pretty awesome, man. We love being in. Dude, let's talk about you and the BKFC. Mike and I, we do the same thing every time we get ready to talk to a fighter. We go on and we watch a bunch of their fights. And the thing with you is we were watching your two fights from the BKFC today against Eric Thompson and Derek Finley. Now, Mike said something today that like really stuck out to me. He was like, dude, he goes, you ever watch a fight and just know that one dude just really knows what the fuck he's doing in there and the other one don't? That is what he like you against in your first fight against Eric Thompson. You just look so damn comfortable in the ring. Your footwork, you're in and out. Like you just kept smacking him around. He kept falling down, and like he kept doing like this weird thing with his arm, and you just weren't falling into any of the bullshit. It was just like, how comfortable do you feel taking the gloves off and venturing into this bare knuckle world that you seem like you're really succeeding in?
First off, I really appreciate you saying that because I've been waiting. It's about goddamn time someone said that out loud. Not to sound full of myself, but I'm slick as shit in bare knuckle. That's my sport for sure. I feel not even nervous in there. You know, I've done MMA for years and years and years, but I never really could settle in mentally because I can't use my footwork in MMA. I can't use my head movement. You know, I can't use a lot of my tools, and bare knuckle is just my world. And to be frank with you, I've done bare knuckle before when it was illegal, 10 years ago. I've done a couple underground fights, honestly, just for fun. And yeah, I don't feel like anyone can touch me. There's guys in my division that are hard matchups, but I feel like I carve most people up, to be honest with you. I just don't think people can handle that level of comfortability, my pacing, my timing, my feinting. A lot of people don't even, and I really appreciate you guys noticing that, because some people think I get hit more than I do. They don't realize I'm barely getting out of the way. It looks like I get clipped, doesn't touch me. So I feel good, man. I feel honestly unbeatable at 165 for sure. And I'm just ready to carve some dudes up.
Well, in the Thompson fight, I feel like that was like not a hard fight at all for you. But the second fight, we were there. I'm surprised we didn't really talk to you much, but that event was like the first event that BKFC was like, yep, you guys got free reign of this place. Go wherever you want. So we were like we were all over the place that night. That night felt like it was 5 minutes long. But I remember watching your fight. We were in the locker rooms in the back, and there was a TV in there. And, Dave Rickles is warming up, and everybody's like huddled and like watching you fight. And it seemed like when you fought Finley, who is an experienced boxer, that you just kind of just pieced him up. And then at the end, it seemed like he kept trying to go to the ropes and use like a boxer's, guard. And he's just holding his hands like over and over again. And you were just going around them and in between it over and over and over again. And I was like, why does he keep doing that? Like, is he hurt? Like, why does he keep doing that? And I don't fight. So like, I know shit gets crazy in there. And everyone's been into a street fight pretty much, but it just seemed as though he just wasn't on your level. And it was very impressive. Not to, kiss your ass too much here, you know what I'm saying? But
go ahead, keep talking, baby. All night.
But knowing Derek Finley and his experience, it seemed like he had nothing on you.
The thing about that too is like some people kept saying that they were like, they watched that fight with Derek Finley and like, oh, are they going to give you someone who's not a tomato can? I'm like, hold on, Derek Finley's fucking good. He has a lot of pro fights. He trains in boxing for sure. The fight before we fought, he just knocked out some undefeated prospect in boxing, like just knocked the guy out clean. And he's trained with Triple G before. He's an experienced guy. I just feel like in that fight, especially with my style, I just made him look bad. Not saying he is bad. I don't think he could handle. I'm just too comfortable in there. There was a moment in the first round when I feinted and then I stuck him with a hard jab and I saw it in his face. He just knew, I can't touch this fucking guy. And I think I proved that. And my comfortability to kind of like rant a bit, I'm just too comfortable. I get settled in. And once I get settled in, I've heard Israel talk about this, not trying to compare us, but you get into a state where you're just flowing. And in bare knuckle and MMA, there's times I can do that. But like I said before, it's harder for me to do that because I can't use all my tools. I can't slip. I can't do the footwork because the wrestling. But in bare knuckle, man, I just feel completely calm and relaxed. Even when I get hit, it's that flow state that all the fighters are always trying to get to. Like they always say, the best fighter doesn't always win. It's the guy who is the most relaxed, the guy who can perform in the cage like he can in the gym. And in bare knuckle, I feel like I just got that down.
Oh no. Like the level of impressed that we were for your first two fights, I mean, it was as high as it gets. Now, your manager is in the comment section right here, and he says Jake's lining himself up for a title shot. This kid is an experienced monster. Talk about your experience. Like, you have been there and done that, like, pretty much all over the fucking globe. And
I've been fighting for 25 years. I've kickboxed professionally in Poland. I've done MMA I fought for UFC, Unified, Bellator. I've done boxing. I've done bare knuckle. I mean, I can't, my combat sports history is as full as it can get, for my age. And, all that experience is, I kind of flew under the radar because I'm a very charismatic, talkative guy, but I'm kind of like in the world too much. Like I haven't really gotten Instagram that much. I've been banned a couple times on Facebook because I say some things I probably shouldn't say. But
yeah. That's the problem. That's the problem with like the free speakers like yourself, and like a lot of it, like Mike and I, we would love to put all kinds of fucking crazy shit on there, but if we're in the military and we would get fucking smacked down.
Oh yeah,
shit, we definitely don't do it. But then you look around and there's definitely guys with Instagram profiles and Facebook profiles and TikToks out there that aren't getting the follows that they deserve. Because they're suspended for 30 days, like every fucking, like they get suspended for 30 days and then they come back.
It's shadow banned. They'll make you, no one will see your shit, Yeah. I don't even think I'm that controversial. I just say the truth, what my opinion is, and people don't like it. I have no problem saying, hey, I think that's wrong, and I think it's wrong for these reasons, and I think you're dumb, for lack of a better word, just uncertain. And people just don't like that. People don't like the truth, especially, in this day and age. I was having a conversation at the sidetrack about how big of pussies all the younger kids are. So like I own a business and I'm trying to hire these young college guys. I pay it really well. And they're all a bunch of pansies. When I was like 13, I was working like 12-hour days at a gold mine for no money. And you can't get anyone. Like, everyone's just too sensitive is what I should say. But I'm not worried about that with the fans of BKFC, because BKFC is a fucking man sport. All right. It's a man sport. This is some man shit here. So maybe I should get online and start letting everyone know how I feel about stuff.
No, I do think you should. I think you should, as lame as it sounds in this day and age in combat sports, is you kind of need to have a social media presence in order to make yourself anywhere in the world of combat sports. And it sucks to say that, but it is the real world. And this is not a shot at Quentin Henry either. Like, Quentin Henry has a huge following where he's from, and like people love him, but he doesn't fuck around with like, he doesn't really do too much on social media either. So like a lot of people that are watching this fight with Lorenzo Hunt himself, they know Lorenzo. You know what I mean? They all know Lorenzo, and then the local people know Quentin. And if Quentin
my girlfriend thinks Lorenzo's scary.
She thinks he's scary.
I think he's a pussy.
Oh my God! Here,
a lot of people don't like Lorenzo.
No, I think he's cool. Like, he reminds me of he's like the Walmart version of the "Let's Go Champ" guy. Same stick. I think Lorenzo's very talented, and he's done, well for himself. I think back to you you're talking about the social media, man. This is a business. Everyone likes to make money, so I don't care what I have to do to make money. I'll fight Lorenzo right now for money. I'll push my social media for money. This is a business at the end of the day. So, I mean, I respect guys who don't want to promote themselves and like, that's not me. I don't think you should be disingenuous, but if your bottom line is to make as much money as possible, post some shit on Instagram.
Right. Now you're fighting October 15th. It's the BKFC's first event out in Denver. It should be a big one. They got Mike Richmond and Doolittle in the main event. They also have Chris Camozzi and Bubba McDaniel on that card, two well-known MMA fighters who have done it all and seen it all over the places, just like yourself. But you're fighting Brandon Girtz, and let's talk about that one for a second. Like, your first fight against Eric Thompson, I really don't even know what kind of style Eric Thompson has. Like, not a shot at Eric Thompson.
Slanging, baby. He's slanging.
Okay.
Can I
What's
tell you
that?
something funny about that guy? Can I
Go
tell you
ahead.
something funny about that guy? So after our fight, we go in the back. We're talking. I'm like, what do you do for a living? And he's like, oh, I'm a male dancer. I'm a male stripper. I'm like, oh, that's not fucking surprising. He's slanging, baby.
It really is, and like so, his style is male stripper, and
Yeah.
then you got into the ring with a very experienced Derek Finley, who's been there and done that in the boxing world. Very experienced boxer, fought everybody, trained with everybody, and now in your third fight, you're getting in there with a experienced MMA guy, just like yourself, who has been grinding on the MMA scene, a longtime Bellator fighter who has fought, the best that Bellator has, Chandler, Campos. He's fucking fought them all. How do you see this fight with you and Brandon going as opposed to your first two, which were completely opposite styles,
I think Brandon's going to be harder to corral the way I want. I'm going to want to corral him. He's more willpower per se. I think with Derek Finley, he's equally experienced, but in MMA, you have to be it's a little grimier with the wrestling and the grinding. Boxing's a more finesse sport. I think Girtz is going to be hard. Style wise, they're about the same. They're short guys with big ass heads and they're ugly. And my poor hands, man. Can I get a guy with a normal size head first off? A normal size head guy would be. This guy's head is gigantic. Fucking, and so was Finley's. Anyway. So style wise, same height as Finley, southpaw, but Girtz is going to be harder to break mentally. I'll get him there for sure, but he's going to be much more difficult to kind of get where I need him. But I'll get him there. And I think in the clinch, he's going to be a little monster, of course, because just look at him. But yeah, he's got the experience. I don't know. One thing I say about bare knuckle is it's completely new. It's completely its own sport. So like, okay, the idea would be since Derek Finley is a much more experienced boxer, his hands would be better than mine. It's like, nope. And I don't know. People coming in from MMA have better clinch work. And that's not always true. I don't think everything translates the same. So I could sit here and say, well, I better watch out for his clinch because he's going to be a little monster because in MMA his clinch is great, but you don't know how that translates. So I think he's going to be very mentally tough. He's talented. He's got a big ass head. He's going to be hard to hurt, but I'll get him down.
Let me ask you this, man. In the 165-pound division in the BKFC, there's a lot of fucking badass dudes in there. You got the champ, Palomino. You got Elvin Brito, Caleb Harris. You got Gogo Slavesky now. And a lot of people are talking a lot about these other guys, but you're 2-0. You're very much in the conversation as most of these guys. Do you think you go in there against Brandon and you get this win on October 15th, your name automatically catapults you up into that upper echelon?
Oh, for sure.
Has
for
to,
sure.
right?
Brandon Girtz is a bad motherfucker. Let's be clear. So, and honestly, I think, and I'm not trying to sound egotistical because I'm not. I have my own flaws, and I will not say them here because I don't want people to know them. There's a clear way to beat me if you can see it, but I think I carve most of those guys up. I just do. There's guys in my weight class who are more difficult than would be more difficult opponents for me based on my style than a lot of the guys in the top 5. But if I go out there and I do what I know I can do and I perform how I know I can perform against Girtz and, carve his ass up like a turkey, then for sure, I think maybe one more and I should get a title fight. But, like I said, you never know. There's Tom Schoaf been sitting there. He's like, I'm what? 3-fight win streak. He's not even in the conversation right now. So you just never know how it works out. But I better be ranked. I'm not on the website and under the rank portion yet. But after I finish Girtz, I should be ranked for sure. And honestly, I just want to stay busy. So I don't care if they give me a guy in the top 3 or 4, or they just throw me another tough guy. I just want to stay consistent. I'm 36. I'm in my prime. I want to rattle off Of course, I want the title and all that stuff, but I just want to stay busy. So, whoever they want to give me after Girtz.
You know what fight I think? I mean, if you get through Girtz and this guy doesn't have a fight lined up, I think you and Connor Turney.
All day, baby.
You and Connor Turney, your body types, your style versus his style. I believe that
What body
one.
type is that? What body type is that? What are you trying to say about my body?
I'm saying
type?
like you guys are both taller, longer fighters. I'm saying you got great footwork. He's got great footwork. I really think that like the two of you match up so nicely. I think that after this fight, if you come out victorious, and now you're sitting at 3-0, and Connor Turney doesn't have himself a fight, and they're gonna do something with Palomino is gonna fight. If Palomino is gonna fight Chad Mendez, that means that 165 title is on the shelf for a minute. So everybody else needs to carry on. Maybe a Connor Turney against 3-0 Jake Lindsey makes sense. You know what I mean?
For sure. Colin Tierney is super talented. We were supposed to fight. I got a short notice fight offer. It was too short for me to even make weight. And I had other obligations. I run a business and stuff, so I couldn't even do it. But yeah, I've had my eye on him. I think you just made the fight right there. Let me get through Girtz and let me fight Tierney. I think, out of all the guys, he's one of the better guys in the weight class for sure. He's super slick, super well. And you're right, we are similar. I think, honestly, he probably moved. If I was going to be honest about the fight, he is a little bit more slick with his movement than me, his traditional boxing movement, but he doesn't hit as hard as me, and he's slower. So that'd be a really good chess match. I think all the hardcore, people who have a good IQ for the fight game and can notice skill would love that fight. I think that'd be, in terms of pure skill level, that's the fight they have to make. If they're making the matchups for the belt based off the best guys, that's the 100% best matchup to make right there.
Absolutely. Mike, what do you think about a Connor Turney, Jake Lindsey after the Brandon Girtz fight? What do you think?
I think that would be fantastic for all the reasons that we just spoke about here. The guy has got it. I mean, I feel like he's going to be, if not already, a huge star, like climbing for UK, because he does have charisma. He has a great style. He is somewhat known over there for he's fought bare knuckle before he came to BKFC. And now we have you, slick as hell. We'll see how you do in the Girtz fight. No offense. We always say like, hey, we don't know. We try to keep it down the middle. And every time we say like, hey, good luck in the fight, everyone goes, I don't need luck. I'm going to win. I'm like, well, okay, I got you. But, I think that that's a great fight because you guys both look like you know what you're doing in there. You're not lost. I don't want to see any more fights with you, and not like you had many. Like but the first fight with we could keep fucking with this dude. But the thing is,
man, he dances, baby. I bet he's a better dancer than I am for sure.
Oh, definitely. He is a dancer. He is
that's
a dancer.
what he was saying.
Yeah, and the thing is he's a better dancer. And he's a better social media poster. I don't know. I haven't seen you post a lot of stuff online, but man, I feel bad talking shit about fighters because it's just
I think he's a big boy. He understands. Like I think he's a tough guy, and he goes in there and he throws hard. I don't think he has any expectations of like being a world champion. That's for sure. Well, he probably makes plenty of money at the strip club anyway, so he doesn't give a shit.
When he fought Riggs, he did the same thing, and it's just swinging like a madman and falling like 20 times, and I feel like people like that are gonna get hurt really bad if they keep trying to fight.
I don't know how PG is this show.
It's not at all. You can say whatever you want. What's that?
Maybe his dick's too big. That's why he can't move. It just anchors him down. He's a stripper for a reason. That's what I told him in the back. I was like, dude. He's like, you don't move very much. He's like, yeah, I'm a male stripper. I'm like, what are you trying to say? Like, your dick's so big you can't move. You're like anchored down. And we had a good laugh about it.
He's used to lap dances and staying in one place.
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying though. I don't want to fight guys that I think I want to go up the mountain. And honestly, after I fought Thompson, I personally messaged everyone who's ranked. Joe Elmore, Caleb Harris. I messaged everyone. Say, hey, do you want to fight? Are you free? like just by myself. Then same thing after Finley, I messaged everyone, hey, are you free? Do you want to fight on this day, this time? I'll fight you anytime, any day. Just trying to lock a fight in, man. And I've had 3 fights now where it's been scheduled and something had happened where the opponent got hurt or something and got canceled. But yeah, I don't want to go. I think, and they're doing the right thing with Conor. I think one thing they run the risk of with me is, since I'm not as, I guess, traditionally as popular as those guys on social media, that they kind of want to keep me for Kansas specifically, but then they're wasting the talent is what they'd be doing if they did that. Now I don't know if they're going to do that, but if they keep kind of, I had the feeling they wanted to kind of keep me for the Kansas, Wichita area. Every time they show in Wichita, they throw me on there. And that's why I was so proactive personally about messaging guys. Like I probably got on Nate Schiff's nerves. You know, I message him every other day. Like, hey, what about this guy? Can we fight this guy? What about this guy? And he's like, dude, they're already fucking matched. Let me do my job. But no, I need to stay active, man. That's what I need to do. I need to stay active.
I'm going to tell you right now that the card that you're on, and I'm looking, I just pulled up the card, and if the structure of the card is what it is on the website right now, they got you guys looking like you're the co-main event. I don't know if you are or not. I don't know if Kamosi.
Hey,
it looks like
I bet you it is because it's Girtz. And Girtz is bringing he's the fan.
He's a Denver guy, right?
He's from that area.
But dude, on that card, you got yourself and Girtz, you got Kamosi and McDaniel, you got Richmond and Doolittle, but you also got Danny O'Connor out of Boston, Massachusetts. That we're New England guys, and we know Danny O'Connor, and Danny O'Connor is like 33-3 as a pro boxer, and he's a title holder. And I remember him walking out to the fucking Dropkick Murphys up in Boston one time for one of his fights. Like, that dude can fight. I wonder what he's gonna do in bare knuckle. He can box his ass off, and we all know that. Like Derek Finley,
he's a bad little motherfucker.
He's a bad little motherfucker. But then you got that guy Josh Copeland, the fucking cuddly bear that used to fight for PFL. That has like, he's like 18. I fucking had his record. He's like 18-7 pro MMA, and he has big wins over big names. So like, that's another fucking slugger out there. And on top of that, you got Courtney Cameron and Crystal Pittman on the card. Everyone loves to see a nice, a couple of women beat the shit out of each other. We all love that shit.
All the girls in BKFC slang, dude. They all throw down.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, even that last title fight left a bad taste in people's mouths. But for the most part, every girl in BKFC, they fight hard. A lot of times harder than the guys, to be honest with you.
Nah, man, I swear to God, and like we talked about Brandon Girtz, and like I always talk about with Brandon Girtz, we see a lot of Bellator where we're from, because we're New England, and Bellator's always at fucking Mohegan Sun. So we used to go to Bellator events all the time over at Mohegan Sun, and we've seen him fight a few times. In like that fight with Derek Campos, where Campos,
dude, I love those fights, man. When he had the gigantic
bullet hole, the bullet hole in his forehead. I'm telling you,
I better hit that body. I better hit that motherfucker. Got a big ass head. He got a hard head, man.
I was just gonna say, man, that dude is as tough as they get. So I don't know what you're gonna have to do to put him down if you're boxing his head up. We all saw it. He did not want that fight to end with Derek Campos, but he was bleeding fucking pints, so they had to stop it. You know? There's
a difference though. Like being hit bare knuckle is a different kind of impact, especially body shots. So I'm gonna have to hit his body a bit, and not hit his forehead. But he ducks his head a lot, so I'm gonna uppercut the shit out of him. He can watch it. I don't care. You can mesh guys' face up with your knuckles more than you can with a glove. A glove is hard and everything, but you can really cut a guy up and bust his face up in ways. It's really easy to break an orbital bone. Like if you look at Derek Finley's face, people are like, why did he stop the fight? And he gets up and it's like swollen. He looked like a piece of chewed up bubble gum. So I'm definitely gonna have to work the body, but I think I'm gonna get him out of there. To be honest with you, I'm not trying to be a dick, Brandon. I think you're tough as shit. I need to be clear of his left hand, that's for sure. But I think I'll get him out of there. We'll see, though. You never know.
This card is just a perfect example of the growth of the bare knuckle sport and BKFC as a company. More and more well-known, well-established fighters from other entities in the combat sports world are showing up in this card alone, dude. Mike Richmond, Brandon Girtz, you fought in Bellator as well as the UFC. You like I said, Josh Copeland, PFL, Danny O'Connor, well-known boxer. It's like Chris Camozzi, Bubba McDonald. Half this card is known by avid combat sports fans, and it's fucking huge. And me and Mike will be there October 15th for everybody that's paying attention. Follow Jake Lindsey on his Instagram and his Facebook. He might get on there every once in a while, but you should follow.
Here, I have a bet for you guys. Here's the bet.
Okay.
If I finish Brandon, you're going to be there, right?
We'll be there.
Yep.
If I finish Brandon Girtz, you guys got to do 10 shots each with me.
Hell no. I'm already going to say no to that.
What about 5?
We'll do a few shots with you, but we have to get on a plane at 7 o'clock in the morning. The next morning.
I'm leaving I'm staying up all night, get on that plane, I'm out.
That's what the 10 shots with you.
All right. Maybe not 10 shots.
I'll take 3 or 4. I'm a lightweight. I'll have 2 or 3 and I'll be done. So
we'll do 3 shots with you. How about that? If you win this fight, we'll do 3 shots with the Gypsy Jake Lindsey. Hey, we don't have a hero and zero game to play with you, but we do a speed round with a lot of fighters that come through here, and these are off the wall questions that have nothing to do with the sport that you're in, but it gives everybody an idea of what kind of personality you got. Speed round with Jake Lindsey. Here we go. Number 1. Your favorite pro wrestler of all time. Bonus if you can do an impression of that wrestler.
Ric Flair. Woo! Oldest ride, longest line, baby. Ric Flair for days.
I love it, man. I have a hard time keeping these alligators down.
Dude, I love it. Man, there's a point in my life where I was like, I'm just going to live my life to whatever is in Ric Flair's book. Whatever he's done, I'm going to just do.
I'm pretty sure he's died like 3 times, to be honest with you. It's fucking, the guy's amazing.
I'm not partying that. We got to do 10 shots, baby. We got to do it now. I got to get one out of the way. One heart attack out of the way. Denver weekend.
All right, number 2.
Number 2, greatest cartoon character ever created.
Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. What's up? Let's go.
There you go.
Boom. There you go. I grew up very rough, and I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of cartoons. My extended family, I have like some hard-ass farmer family, and then I have some normal family, then I have some organized crime mafia family, and I hung out with my uncles a lot growing up, and they were like, you can't watch that pussy shit. I'm like 6 years old. I'm like, come on, I watch cartoons. So.
Here we go. No, that's fucking great. Number 3. What are your thoughts on airport bathrooms?
I think more people probably masturbate in them than use the restroom. Or let me rephrase that. More people do activities in those bathrooms than use the restroom. I personally witnessed in the airport people doing coke, having sex, and masturbating. All 3 of those separate airports. One time in Denver, actually. Yeah. So
it's a trifecta.
I feel like they're like the new truck stop bathrooms. You know what I mean? They're like the new thing.
Is there lot lizards in airport bathrooms now?
I think so.
Hey,
we'll find out when I fly to Denver. I'll do an investigation. I'll do a full investigation of all the restrooms, and I'll report back to you guys on my findings.
I can't wait for that report. I really can't. So I noticed something at these airport bathrooms, and I didn't mention it to anybody until just before the show today because we were talking about this question. And I said, Kyle,
he noticed the hole. He was like, "What comes through that hole?"
Yeah, what is that hole for? I was putting my finger in there, and something happened. So no, when you walk into any of the airport bathrooms, if you look over to the right or left, it depends on where the entrance is. Right, there's a touch screen on the wall. Did you ever notice that? And it's a little tablet type touch screen, maybe like a 9-inch to 7-inch screen.
Well,
And
it
it
looks like a
says,
card scanner.
what's that?
You talk about that little thing that looks like a card scanner? Well,
Yeah, like they have them in every one of the bathrooms. And if you look at it, it actually says, how was your bathroom visit today? And it has a green smiley face, a yellow, like, okay face, and like a sad red face. And you're supposed to go up to it and hit one of them and say, hey, but I've never done it. So I don't know if there's a second question. I don't think anybody has ever used that friggin' thing.
Who's going to touch
when you
that?
go? When you go to the bathroom in the airport this time, you're gonna see it, and you're gonna be like, "Holy shit! How did I not notice?" And then you're gonna see it at every bathroom because I noticed it, like so many trips ago, and I just never said anything to anybody to ask if anybody noticed.
Slightly invasive.
Joe Ivy says, "Don't touch it; it's a trap."
It's definitely a trap.
You hit the unhappy face, and like people come out to interview about what happened today. Did you have a bad bowel movement? That's an extremely invasive.
Yeah,
I don't like that. I'm gonna use it from now on, but that's very invasive.
You know how many people are not washing their hands? They just got done blowing coke and taking a shit, and then they're dabbing their finger on that motherfucker. No way, dude. Fuck that. All right, number 4, Mike.
If you could have a superpower, which one would you want, and how would you use it?
I could just pick whatever it is.
Yeah, and how are you going to use it though?
Well, I would pick mind control, and then I would find people like pedophiles or people, not innocent people, bad people, and I would mind control them to jump inside vicious animal exhibits like chimpanzees, like lion cages. Because I personally thought about throwing some people into those before. So this way I can do it and keep that, that layer of protection. Not in it. Don't get it wrong. I might sound like a bad guy. I'm not a bad guy. Just people that deserve it.
Well,
pedophiles.
That is a perfect answer. That's a perfect answer because that's going to lead into my last question for you tonight. I'm glad you answered that one the way you did because when was the last time you just thought to yourself, you know what? Prison can't be that bad.
Haven't gone to prison before. I don't think I've ever thought that, but
you never just looked at a motherfucker and been like, you know what? It might be worth it. This might be worth it.
In that context, it's a weekly consideration. It's a weekly consideration. I saw a guy. I'll tell you the last time I wanted to smash a guy's face into a wall, and then that whole thought process happened. I saw a guy walking his dog, and he was a really big jacked buff guy who was clearly on meth, and he was just beating his dog was just sitting there, and he wasn't sitting down, and he was like kicking it and beating it and like slapping it around. I was driving by, and I even circled the block. I was like, I'm gonna get out and starch this dude right now. If I drive back by and he's hitting that dog, and he was beating this dog. I drove by again, and he was doing the same thing. So I parked and I got out of my car, and as I turn around to go starch him and take his dog, his wife or his girlfriend or whatever had got him inside and got the dog in the backyard. I was, man, in that moment, like I love animals, and I don't like seeing. I'm a very defensive person by nature. Like I don't care if people mess with me, but when I see someone or anyone or anything that's innocent being harmed like that, I just snap like that. So I was like, I'm gonna knock this guy out. I was fully committed to knocking him out and then taking his dog home. So
you're well.
Rightfully so, right?
You're very, rightfully so. You make like a thought like that. I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. Like I have definitely had these thoughts in my head. Like, I want to lose a decade of my life right now? And you know what? If I didn't have 2 sons,
do it.
If I didn't have 2 kids right now, there might have been a few times where I might have just taken a decade off.
That's always the thought, man. I have 2 daughters. I have a son on the way, and I one thing about me as I absolutely adore being a father. I feel like being a parent and a father specifically is very good. Fathers are lacking in our society, and I feel there's nothing more important and satisfying long term, and nothing more. I don't feel like you're fully a man until you have children, and I adore being a father, and I love kids. And so yeah, that's the thought. Like I always say, I'm like, man, if I didn't have kids, you know,
my life would be a mess.
Yeah, X, Y, and Z. Well, I would do these things that I wouldn't do because I love my children too much. But yeah, how old are your sons?
I got a 11-year-old who's going to be, he's like 11 and a half right now. And my 7-year-old turns 8 next week. He's going to be an 8-year-old next week. Yeah. They're both, what's up?
What are their names?
Jackson and Nolan.
Dude, those are some strong ass names. They're gonna be monsters, baby. Congratulations. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, thank you. I'm the lucky one who gets 2 boys. The guy up above me right here, he's got a couple of little angels, and God bless them.
Yeah.
You got 2 daughters, huh?
Yeah, I got blessed with 2 daughters. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, Brooklyn and Bristol.
You better start fucking some more. You got to have that son, baby.
I've been trying. I've been telling my wife, like, hey, quit the shit. Time to have another kid. She don't want to have it. She's like, no damn way am I having another kid. You want to know what happened?
Somebody asked me to show the kids. I got kids right here. Like, there's one.
I don't have a tattoo, but.
And then, and then the other one's over there. Yeah, I got the baby. So
here's the thing. My second daughter is an absolute maniac of a girl. Like, I thought having girls, they would be like, oh, nice, haha, sweet. My younger daughter is a beast. She's mean. She's aggressive. She's just not what I thought a girl would be, you know, which I love her to death, but she's mean, man. So I don't know. So after we had her, my wife's like, no more kids. I can't do it. I can't risk having another Bristol. I can't have her.
You might have to pull one of those, what those girls do to NBA players, maybe poke a hole in that condom, baby. It's got to get that boy.
I want that boy.
It's funny you say that because my youngest daughter's the same way. She is, my first daughter is like the typical girl, very sensitive and feminine and, you know, quiet, but my youngest daughter's a monster. We have daddy games that we play. Like one of the daddy games she plays with me, she runs up and hits me in the face, like full bore. Bow! Just smokes me with a 2-piece. She's very, very aggressive and stuff like that. But I'm not taking no for an answer. Like I was telling, I needed that boy. We're gonna keep going. I don't care if it's 5 girls. We're going until we have that boy. So luckily I got it on the 3rd try. So
you know, Mike told me this story. Mike's 2 daughters, right? Like his older daughter is, like he said, the sweetest little, like nicest little girl ever. And then Bristol's a little maniac, as he says. He told me this fucking story that had me cracking up. He was like, bro, I was home alone with the kids. He's like, Bristol's on the living room floor, right? And you know, in Mike's house, it's a raised ranch with the open floor plan. So like the kitchen goes right into the living room. So there's no wall in between. And the kitchen table had like this planter thing on it. And Mike tells me, he's like, bro, I went downstairs. The dryer or the washing machine stopped, right? And like you had to run downstairs just to switch the laundry into the dryer and then run back upstairs. And he's like, Bristol's fine. There's no way she could fucking do anything crazy in the amount of time that I run downstairs and switch the laundry. He goes, I go down, laundry out the washing machine, into the dryer shut, turn it on, go back upstairs. She's on top of the table with the whole planter ripped out with all the fucking dirt in the
everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
That shit cracked me up. He's like,
fucking dog couldn't have done.
He's like, how can you do that? He's like, how did you do that in 30 seconds? What the fuck?
Yeah, that's so good, man. I collect bones, so I have like, I'll find a dead animal or I'll kill an animal and then I'll let it decompose. I'll shine its bones. And I went to answer the phone one time and I have a big chest full of just cleaned up bones that I paint and do whatever with. And I turned the corner, went upstairs, grabbed the phone, came back down, and she had pulled all the bones out and pulled the box out the back door and dumped it all in the backyard. And my next door neighbor was having a birthday party with their like 3-year-old kids. And by the time I got there, there's actually, this sounds kind of weird, but there's a decomposing deer head in that box. It all ran over. Yeah, kids are crazy, man. You got to watch them. You got to watch them.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm getting sick of it.
I'm getting tired of it.
I'm getting so tired of it.
When can we monetize it? That's the thing. Like when they're young, you can't make them work. They can't make any money.
Make a
But when they
YouTube
get a little
video.
older, yeah, I guess some people do that, don't they?
Yeah, like that Ryan's World kid. I mean, how famous did they get? Let's just open up some toys and they play with it. We record and we put it up. You know?
That is nuts. I had a friend who had Down syndrome who just did that all day long anyway. We could just record them and have been millionaires. He just would play with. He would just play with GI Joes. It was cool. He would hang out and he played with GI Joes. You would not believe that people make money doing that. Like, oh, let me open up this wrestling toy and let me actually play with it. There's YouTube. Ryan's World got big because he's a little kid, but there's adult channels that get a little creepy though. It's like a 40-year-old man playing GI Joes. Have you seen those ones?
No, thank you.
Somehow my daughter had went from Ryan's World to click on this link to this link, and some weird guy drinking beer playing with Legos. I'm like,
oh my god, that dude should be in prison.
Yeah,
yeah.
YouTube is tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. You want to block all that shit, but it's always something sneaks through. You always catch them, and you're like, "What are you watching here?" So I blocked all this shit.
My daughters like watching. They're just interested in because like they like watching medical medical surgery videos. Because somehow, again, through the YouTube, we were watching some cartoon. She click, and it's like, oh, it's someone's foot getting dissected.
Oh, what the hell?
Like, what is that?
What the hell?
They like gore, and first off, my daughters are not psychos; they're normal little kids, but they like scary stuff and like gory movies and things like that. Things that you wouldn't think a 6 and 7-year-old girl would. Anytime I get home from a fight, the first thing to do is inspect my face and look for like spots for blood, and there's blood, and like, oh,
poking their fingers.
Oh, directly into it. Does this hurt? Right into the wound.
Feels great.
I'm hoping my last 2 fights I haven't been touched very much. I kind of wanted. I don't want to get hit, but I want to get like a big cool cut. You know what I mean? Not anywhere bad, but like a nice cool one right here below my eye. You know what I'm saying? Like right.
And then like Jose Aldo with the fucking...
Yeah, like a Jose Aldo style, scar or a big cut that I can go to my child's private school and pick them up from school, and everyone can be like, "Hey, what the hell? What's going on with this
guy?" Man, hey Jake, you're a fucking character, man. I don't know why you're not on more shows more often and doing this shit.
Hey man, Kevin Smith, get on it, baby. Let's get this done.
Let's do this. Hey. Before we get you out of here, man, somebody said I got to ask you about his black metal walkout. People were talking about it on a metal forum. What are we talking about here?
So I'm a big fan of black metal.
Hey, by the way, hold on. Did you notice the guy's name that's asking this question?
Dick Mouth.
No.
Dickman Dickelheimer.
Dickman Dickelheimer wants to know.
He's an avid watcher.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's always nice.
Old Dickelheimer.
So tell us about the black metal. What is it?
There is I'm a big fan of black metal. You know what black metal is?
No,
I don't. What is it?
It's very extreme.
Crazy
Just
metal?
YouTube it. Yeah, and I walk out to black metal every now and then. I walked up to Dimmu Borgir, which is a Norwegian black metal band. So,
is it like Dying Fetus? Is Dying Fetus considered black metal?
No, that's more like that's like extreme metal. Black metal actually is very artistic. There's a lot of symphonics and orchestra instruments and stuff like that. But it's funny that so it's on a black metal forum.
Yeah.
I gotta find the forum and say what's up.
Dickman, if you're watching or later, if you finish this because maybe you left the chat, tell us what forum it's in so we can find it.
So we can send it to Jake. Anyways,
you're looking it up now.
He's trying to find
it. Yeah.
Anyways, man, hey, you are fighting October 15th against Brandon Girtz in the very first event in Denver, Colorado. It'll be your third fight in the BKFC. Looking to move to 3-0 and keep on moving towards the top of the division and maybe a title fight. We'll give you an opportunity now. Anybody who's watching that hasn't gotten the app, get the app so you can tune into this fight, especially Go ahead and shoot some last words out there, Jake.
Come watch me carve up this turkey in October 15th, baby. Let's get it. Just watch, man. Just watch and watch me fight. Follow me on social media. Let's go. Champ 2023 for sure.
There you have it, man. Thank you very much for coming on here. Thank you to Smith Brothers and Kevin Smith for getting you on here. And we look forward to having you back in the squared circle on October 15th. Mike, you got anything else for Jake?
Oh, last thing, Dickman answered. He said, I think they took it down because the gift got a copyright struck. So it was in Reddit. It was in a Reddit group.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So maybe it's gone forever, unfortunately.
All right, brother. Hey, it's been a pleasure talking
Well,
to
hey,
you.
appreciate you.
Go ahead.
Appreciate you guys.
All right,
It's been
man.
fun.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for coming on here. We got a little bit of an echo there. We will let you go, and we'll be tuned in, and we'll see you in October. And if you win, we'll have 3, 4, 5 fight shots with you. What do you say?
Hell yeah, man. For sure. I'll see you guys later.
All right, dude.
All right. Later.
There he is, the Gypsy, Jake Lindsey.
It was weird for like a split second at the end, or for a few seconds, really. There was like a delay. It came out of nowhere, right? Isn't that weird? Like it didn't happen the whole time. Then all of a sudden you talked, and I thought he was just staring at the screen. Like,
I think it's when he got up and moved. He got up and like went into the other room, and then he sat down. Like maybe that kind of messed up his whatever. But dude, awesome show. He's a character, man. You got Quentin Henry on here, cool as a cucumber as he always is. Looks about as dialed in as you can possibly be for an absolutely game Lorenzo Hunt. Clash of two titans there, two absolute opposite end of the spectrum personalities. Like I said earlier, you got the loud, boisterous fucking Lorenzo, Conor McGregor style, trying to get in everybody's head that he does, and he's very good at it. And then you got Quentin, who's just calm, and he made us truly believe that none of the stuff that Lorenzo's doing is getting into his head, and we like to hear that. That should be an amazing main event on October 1st in Monroe, Louisiana. And then October 15th, we'll get to see Jake Lindsey fight Brandon Girtz, who is a longtime MMA veteran inside the squared circle. Mm-hmm. Awesome show tonight. One more time before we get out of here, I want to shout out our new sponsor, Guerrilla Warfare. Like I said, the real fighter's choice, Guerrilla Warfare apparel. They're scooping up these fighters. The best of the best are rocking their gear right now. GWA. Go to www.guerrillawarfareapparel.com. Mike's holding up the hoodie right there. I got this shirt on right now. And if you guys have ever rocked a Mission Accomplished Killfoot clothing shirt, same exact brand, same exact comfortability. This shit is fucking awesome. It felt so good when I put it on. I was just like, God damn, I feel like I'm back in the Killfoot shit. So
it's super soft.
Give them a follow on Instagram. It's Guerrilla_Warfare_apparel. Follow all their fighters. I'm sure you already do. They got Misfit, Rebird, Loco on there. They got Brad Kelly.
Do we have a promo code? We get a promo code or something so we can tell.
We don't have a promo code right now.
Let them know when you buy a shirt where you bought it, and that you heard it from us.
Yeah,
heard it from us here.
You heard it from us. And tomorrow we got another big show for you guys. We are gonna have 2 more fighters off that October 15th fight card in Denver, Colorado, when longtime UFC veteran Chris Camozzi fights Bubba McDaniel. And Bubba, I'm going to talk about him in a second. These two will both be on the show tomorrow night, not at the same time. We're going to talk to Chris first. We'll get him. We'll get an interview in with him, and then we're going to bring Bubba on afterwards. Like we talked about earlier, it's very rare that we bring both fighters that are going to be fighting each other on at the same time. But tune in tomorrow night at 9 p.m. When we talk to those guys. But dude, Bubba McDaniel was on the fight, the Ultimate Fighter, when we were in Kuwait in 2013. And it's funny because I feel like, did we just talk to somebody that was on that fucking? Didn't we?
For some reason it came up, and I do remember that, like in my head, but I can't remember the specifics of why we were talking about that.
But dude, that Ultimate Fighter is the last one that I was excited about. Like, and I'm not taking.
I was
shots.
really excited because we were deployed.
We were
Remember, I was
overseas.
downloading all the
Right.
torrents.
we were overseas. We were watching it. It had John Jones coaching against Chael Sonnen. It had Uriah Hall fucking kicking homeboy's head off. Like the nastiest knockout in the history of the Ultimate Fighter on that season. You had Kelvin Gastelum, last pick of the season, winning the whole damn thing. Bubba was on there. That season was fantastic, and he was on there, and I'm looking forward to talking to him about that. And Chris Camozzi, dude, that guy, I don't know how many fights, I would have to look it up, he had in the UFC, but I bet you he had a dozen. He fought Jacare twice. He fought them all, and he was kind of like the I don't want to call him like a gatekeeper, but he was kind of like the litmus test. When a new fighter would come in, they'd be like, you fight Chris Camozzi. And if you could beat Camozzi, you belong here. And Camozzi would either fucking fuck him up and they would be gone, or they would do good. They would do well against Chris Camozzi and they'd stick around. It was kind of like that guy. But successful in the UFC, successful in PFL, successful in Glory Kickboxing. Dude's got a impressive resume, and he will be on the show tomorrow night as well as Bubba McDaniel. It's going to be exciting tomorrow night. And with that said, Mike, what else you got for these peeps?
Nah, I'm good to go. It's going to be wicked awesome tomorrow. So go buy yourself Guerrilla Warfare apparel, and we'll see you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Peace.